This is your one and only 𝐈𝐸𝐸81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and today we're talking about the newest hotfix to hit V-Rising, patch 0.5.42050. Let's get to it. So first off, we got some new features listed here, some localization stuff, but one that I want to point out is that players can now dismantle floors and borders that are next to walls and pillars without having to dismantle any wall/pillar first, as long as this does not leave any wall/pillar without a floor connection. So basically, if you have a floor in the middle of your house and you want to dismantle it and there's a wall connected to it, you can do so, or you should be able to do so, as long as there's one on the other side. Then we got a host of bug fixes, nothing too crazy here, just good fixes for bugs. But the stuff that I want to talk about in this video are the balance changes, because there's a lot that are going to affect a lot of different people and a lot of different play styles. So first off, we have just general. The vermin salve is no longer interrupted by damage during the cast time, but it will still break during the buff duration if the player takes damage. So basically, you won't lose it while you're casting it. Next up, Scholar Blood got a nerf. Spell power bonus has been reduced to 10 to 20% from 12 to 25%. So we lost 2% off the lower end and 5% off the higher end. The free cast chance has been reduced to 15% from 20%. I'm not 100% sure how much of a difference that, 5% seems like a lot, but we did get a ton of free casts. So we may notice that, we may not really notice that. Mounted combat. Melee damage done when mounted is reduced by 30%. Now, for those of you who do not know, when you are mounted combat did a lot more damage. You hit a heck of a lot harder when you were mounted than when you weren't mounted, but you also attacked slower. I'm kind of disappointed they made this change. This seems like an unbalance, and also they did not tell us what the original amount was, so I do not know how much harder you hit before. I've seen some people say varying numbers about how hard you hit before, so I don't know 100%, but I really would have liked to have seen that in the patch notes like they did with everything else. So yeah, don't know. It's just reduced by 30% now. Hopefully we still hit harder. I guess we'll find out. In the blood power tree, the Veil of Blood, healing has been increased. It got a buff to 6% from 5%, so it got a 1% increase. We have a lot of buffs on a lot of spells across the board, which is really, really nice to see. In the Unholy category, Corpse Explosion. Damage is increased to 140% from 125. That is a big buff there to the damage on Corpse Explosion. Baiting Snare duration has been also increased to 1.5 seconds from 1 second. The cooldown has also been reduced to 10 seconds from 12 seconds. It got a 2-second decrease on the cooldown on Corpse Explosion. That spell got a massive buff. Unstable Mosquito also got a rather decent size buff by having its damage increased by 10%. So it was 60% and now it does 70% damage. On Veil of Bones, the initial projectile damage has been increased to 75% from 25%. That is a huge buff. That's a 50% increase on the projectile damage. Now to balance this, they've reduced the max bounce, so now it will only bounce to 3 targets instead of 4, and each bounce now reduces the damage of the next bounce by 25%. In the illusion category, Spectral Wolf has had its damage increased to 125% from 100%, so it got a 25% buff, and its cooldown has been increased, I guess, to balance this increase in damage by 1 second. So it was 7 seconds and now it is 8 seconds. Mirror Strike's cast time has been reduced to 0.7 seconds from 1 second. In the Chaos category, here it is, Chaos Volley got a nerf, but first we're going to take a look at Chaos Barrier. Chaos Barrier's projectile damage has been reduced to 50% from 70%. So it got a pretty decent nerf there on Chaos Barrier. Chaos Volley has had its cooldown increased by 1 second. It was 7 seconds and now it's 8. Its projectile damage has lost 15% of its damage. It was 125% and now it is down to 110%. So a pretty big nerf there on Chaos Volley and Chaos Barrier. I still feel like those spells are going to work really well and be good spells. They just won't have that little bit of extra over-tuning that they had before. Power Surge got a nerf, and I don't agree with this one at all. Like, Power Surge was really good the way it was, and they hit it pretty hard. So its shield absorption has been reduced to 120% from its original 150%. So it got a 30% reduction on the amount of damage that you can absorb on your Power Surge shield. Veil of Chaos got a cooldown increase. It was 8 seconds and now it is 9 seconds. The illusion area damage has been reduced by 10%. It was 50% and now it's 40. Merciless Charge got a cast time reduction to 0.7 seconds from 0.8 seconds. I doubt that's like barely noticeable. And they fixed an issue where the player got locked in position for a short duration during the dash. So they fixed a bug with it and gave it, I guess you could call that a buff. I can't call that a buff. 0.1 second difference is barely noticeable to any human. In the Frost category, Crystal Lance is going to be a heavy hitter. This spell got one heck of a buff. The projectile damage has been increased to 190% from 150. It got a 40% increase. This spell already hit relatively hard. Now it's going to hit like a freaking truck. The cast time also got reduced to 1.2 seconds from 1.4. The cooldown got reduced to 7 seconds from 8 seconds, so it got a 1 second reduction on the cool time. And the splinter damage, however, did get a bit of a nerf, so it got reduced by 10%. It was 50% and now it's down to 40%. But that damage increase, that first target that you hit with that projectile, it's gonna feel it. Ice Nova got a cooldown reduction to 10 seconds from 12 seconds, so they knocked 2 seconds off of its cooldown. Veil of Frost actually got a nerf. Its Nova damage used to do 50% and now it will do 30%, so they knocked 20% off of its damage. Arctic Leap, they fixed a bug with it, and then they reduced its damage from 225 to an even 200, so they nerfed Arctic Leap. Then we have some weapon balances. Crossbows. Crossbow bolts no longer deal less damage than a normal shot after using Veil of Frost or Unholy Blood, so it looks like they fixed a bug with the crossbows that technically should have been up there in the bug fixes. The spear got nerfed, so 1,000 spears, the damage per hit has been reduced to 25% from 30%, doing a total of 200% total damage down from 240. The Harpoon's cast time was reduced to, this is another one of those that's not even going to be noticeable, 0.7 seconds from 0.8. Although I got to point out here real quick before we continue, I really like that they are just ever so slightly tweaking most things. We saw some big buffs with some stuff and some decent sized nerfs with others, but a majority of this stuff is just fine tuning. They're just turning that knob ever so slightly instead of just going in there and crushing things. And this is the way you balance a game. So many other games that I've seen, they just go in with the nerf hammer and just start crushing things, and it just throws so much stuff out of whack. So massive kudos to the devs on the way that they go about balancing their game. Anyway, back to Harpoon. The damage has been increased to 90% from 75%. So the 1,000 spears got a bit of a nerf and the Harpoon got a bit of a buff. Axes got a bit of a nerf. So the X strike, the incapacitate duration from the intersecting hit has been reduced down from 2 seconds to 1 second. The damage per axe hit has also been reduced by 5%. So it was 85 and now it is 80. The maces, however, got a damage buff on their crushing blow. It's been increased by 40%. It was 110 and now it's 150. The smack's cooldown has been reduced by 1 second, was 9 and now it is 8 seconds. On to the swords. Whirlwind. The damage per hit has been reduced to 30% from 35, doing a total of 150% down from 175. The Shockwave, the cast time has been increased to 0.7 seconds from 0.6, and the damage per teleport strike has been reduced to 20% from 25%. So they knocked 5% off of it, and that brings the total down to a 60% total from a 75%. On to the slashers, the elusive strike, the damage per hit has been increased from 60 to 70, so it got a 10% bump. And with camouflage, the incapacitate duration has been reduced by 0.5 seconds. It was 3 and now it is 2.5 seconds. So overall, a lot of nice balancing changes, a lot of things that the game has really needed, and I feel like they've tuned a lot of this stuff really nicely. There's a few spells that I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a bump to them, but I haven't played with any of these changes yet, so I'm not gonna go on about that. But overall, I like what they did here. I'm kind of sad that they nerfed Scholar Blood a little bit because I loved me some Scholar Blood, but I don't think those changes that they made are gonna hurt us too bad. I don't think it was that bad of a nerf. I think it's gonna really bring things into balance. Let me know what you all think down there in the comments section. I'm eager to hear what you all think about these changes. And if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful and informational, consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to my supporters on Patreon and my channel members for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to join my Elite Crew Patreon supporters, please check out the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.